Hey guys, this is Valentina Palladino for Ars Technica, and today I'm here with a new Samsung device. This is the Samsung Galaxy Book. So this is kind of Samsung's newest way of challenging Microsoft Surface Pro. So as you can see, it is this tablet, this 12-inch tablet. It also comes in a 10-inch size and a accompanying keyboard case and an S Pen. So you have a bunch of different things included in the box, which is really nice. And it's also an update to Samsung's previous tablet similar to this that came out last year, the Tab Pro S. So what Samsung tried to do while making, I guess, kind of a Surface Pro competitor is to right some of the wrongs that occurred in the Tab Pro S. So I've been spending a little bit of time with this device as a primary and a companion device. So I'm going to tell you some of the good things and the bad things about Samsung's Galaxy Book. So the first really good thing about the Galaxy Book is that this one now has two USB Type-C ports. So this is one of the kind of the biggest problems with the Tab Pro S that came out last year, is that it only had one, and now you have two. So at least you have a little bit more connectivity options on this new device, and if it's going to replace any kind of primary device, you really need that extra port. But otherwise, this is kind of empty of all other ports. You have a headphone jack and a micro SD card slot, but that's pretty much it. So the only kind of knock I could give to this, even though I do give them props for putting an extra USB Type-C port in this, is that I wish that there were some sort of kind of dongles or adapters that came with the device. You won't get any of those in the box of the Galaxy Book. Another good thing about the Galaxy Book is what you do get in the box, and in the box you get the folio case and this S Pen. So let's start with the S Pen. If you've seen any of the other S Pens, like with the Tab S3 that we reviewed recently, or even with Samsung's Chromebook Pro, this looks very familiar to you. They all kind of look the same with like little bits of variation to them, but it's just a basic stylus with one little button here. And I found that it's pretty similar to all of the S Pens that I've used. So far, the S Pen that comes with the Chromebook Pro has been the best, particularly with no latency. This one has a little bit, so you can kind of see that the strokes are appearing a little bit after you actually write them on the screen. But otherwise, it's a perfectly fine pen, and there's this little adhesive thing right here that I attached to the keyboard deck so you can keep it with you at all times. Now with the keyboard case, it's pretty standard, but it is really nice and wide, so you have like a full-size keyboard here, and it was not difficult to type on. It was very comfortable, and I would even say that the trackpad is a decent size. I never found myself kind of rolling over onto the space bar or anything like that, so the typing experience on the Galaxy Book is actually pretty good. I will give them that, and it does look different. This island-style keyboard does look different than the keyboard case that came with the Tab Pro S. It's a much better keyboard in my opinion. I really like it a lot better. The only thing that I could knock is the backspace key is a little bit small for me, but otherwise it's perfectly fine. I never had any problems because of the size of the backspace key. And they also added with the keyboard deck an extra kind of angle for you to put the Galaxy Book. With the Tab Pro S, you only had two angles with the magnetic back. Now you have three. And just a note for both the keyboard case and the S Pen, neither of them require any charging at all. So you'll never have to worry about batteries or recharging an accessory. They will work with the Galaxy Book no matter what. Another good thing about the Galaxy Book is its performance. So we have the 12-inch Galaxy Book, and inside ours is an Intel Core i5 7200U processor, and we've reviewed a couple of other devices that have a similar processor or the same processor, and the Galaxy Book holds up pretty nicely to that on all of our benchmarks. And in my regular use, I never really had a problem with lag, no matter how many tabs I had open, how many apps I had open. So far, it's been working pretty nicely, and it's in our benchmarks, it clocked in as better than even some of the benchmarks of the Surface Pro 4. So it's pretty much on par with devices like the LG Gram that we recently reviewed, the 13-inch LG Gram, and the Asus ZenBook that we reviewed recently too. Now onto the not so great things about the Galaxy Book. This kind of goes along with the good performance of it. Unfortunately, the Galaxy Book does get pretty warm when you're using it. So you're not obviously going to feel it on the keyboard deck when you're using it, but you can certainly feel it on the back, kind of from the middle and then spreading outward. I've had it where like I can definitely feel how warm it is on even the extremities, like on the sides right here. So if you don't like that type of feeling, and also just for overheating, it's not the best thing in the world. Another disappointing thing about the Galaxy Book is that there's no onboard biometric security. So this is a Windows device, tablet, whatever you want to call it, hybrid, but there's no support for Windows Hello. You don't have an IR camera, there's no fingerprint reader. You're kind of just like left behind in that respect. However, Samsung does have the Samsung Flow app on this device that you can use if you have another Galaxy device, particularly a smartphone. So if you were to have a smartphone and this device, and you can use Samsung Flow to kind of share information between the two, and you can also use your fingerprint that you would use on a Samsung Galaxy smartphone to unlock the Galaxy Book. But other than that, there's no way of getting anything other than a password or a PIN to really unlock this device. I think that was a missed opportunity on Samsung's part, just because there is a front-facing camera that you can use to take selfies, as well as a rear camera on this device. So I think Samsung could have added an IR camera, and it would have been a really useful tool. So let's talk about the battery life and how we tested it. So just like the Tab Pro S, this device, the Galaxy Book, has an OLED display. And because OLED displays kind of deteriorate faster than the other LCD displays, Samsung tries to counteract that by enabling screensavers and screen dimming software on this device. So you can turn off the screensaver. Thankfully, you don't have to have that on. But the screen dimming software is not easy to disable. So what we had to do was run a little application where it would simulate movement of the cursor so the screen would never dim for our battery test, because we wanted to stay on as if you were using it for hours and hours on end. So with that in mind, we ran our regular battery test, and so far it's only gotten about 7 hours on average for our battery test, and that's really not great, especially if this is going to be a full-on productivity, replace your regular laptop device. Most other devices that are similarly like hybrids or convertibles, or even just laptops that have the same type of internals, those can typically last between 10 and 13 hours. So this is really not the best in terms of battery life. So overall, using the Galaxy Book has been okay. Just purely for performance, it's fine for me to use on a day-to-day basis. However, I don't think that this would replace my normal laptop, simply because I like a laptop design. For me, this would be better used as a complementary device, because I do like being able to use a stylus to take notes, to scribble things here and there. And I do think that the keyboard experience is really nice, even if it is a little wobbly when you're using it on your lap. But that's going to be pretty much any device that's using this style as a tablet and a keyboard case. That's what you're going to get. But where I really see a problem is the whole package and the price. So it's similarly priced as something like a Surface Pro or even HP's newest Spectre X2. Our device, which is the highest end Galaxy Book that you can get, is just over $1,300. And to me, that's not the money that I would want to spend on a secondary device. While I do like that the keyboard and the S Pen come along with it, so you're not paying extra for that, it's still a lot of money to pay for something that, yes, has good performance, but it's certainly not going to replace a regular laptop, and it doesn't have any biometrics, and so far the battery life hasn't been that great. So overall, I think that Samsung is asking just a little too much for what they're giving you with this Galaxy Book.